Yeah, and I think that you're right. Bringing nature into your house is so important. So having plants around, doing mindfulness activities that involve maybe collages with leaves and things, or just anything that connects you to nature. And if you're lucky enough to have a back garden, spending a bit of time sort of looking out of the window and just having a moment, I guess.
Absolutely, having that moment. Don't beat yourself up because you're feeling isolated and withdrawn. Identify why that is. What's happening to the world around you, what circumstances have brought that to you, and see what you can change. And this is the perfect time just to rest and give yourself that space, to that time of transformation, because that's what plants are doing in the coldness, is when they are transforming to be able to grow, because often without the cold weather and the dark times, they're unable to grow in the spring.
And I guess it's a good time to take stock as well, and kind of make plans for the next year, and kind of seeing it as a new beginning as you get towards the end of winter. I just kind of have that process. And I find that Christmas time I get so much stuff done, and I can catch up on the little jobs that I've been putting off all year, because I've got that time where you're not going into work and you sat around and there's not much going on, that you can just really kind of clear your mental backlog.
Absolutely, it's the time just to clear that mental backlog, give yourself that space to kind of look around and go, oh, okay. I was looking at my office, I was like, gosh, I've piled up a lot of stuff here. I'm going to take this Christmas time to just get rid of some of that stuff to give myself that cleaner space, which may help me feel better.
No, I get that as well. My office is my wife's dumping ground for anything I leave lying around the house. She just puts it on my desk and then it just stays in there. So the rest of the house is nice and tidy, and my office just becomes this mountain of all of the stuff that I've left lying around, which I'm not sure is very, very good for my mental health, but it helps her have that clarity of tidiness in the house.
Yes.
So, yes. Okay, well, we're going to come on to our next section now, which is winter reflections, and taking this moment to sort of look back at the year gone by. I think 2024, like a lot of years recently, has been difficult for a lot of people. There's been a lot going on this year, a lot of change, a lot of events in the world that have made people maybe feel a little bit less secure, and things that we used to take for granted are now no longer necessarily always going to be the same. And just kind of looking at where we are as we head into the middle of December 2024. So Natasha, you're going to kind of talk us through this process.
Yeah, and it is a really good time to sit and reflect in the wintertime, tucked underneath your quilt or blanket with your hot chocolate, and just stop and actually ask yourself maybe a few questions. These are the questions I always ask myself, especially over Christmas time. We're closed for a couple of weeks. This is personal time and space for us. But what has worked well in 2024? Other questions, what can we improve upon? What worked, what didn't work, what you enjoyed. Part of it is also fun. We don't allow ourselves fun in our worlds anymore, but what fun things did you do and enjoy at the same time? Now, another question is, what can you do less of? We're always pushing forward to do more and more and more, and the general population is really, really busy, but what is it we can do less of? I know for myself, I can be less busy on the laptop and more time outside in the garden.
These are good questions. Is this something that you should just sit in the bath or, like you say, under the duvet, just contemplating? Or is it a good idea to start writing some ideas down and making some bullet points just to kind of keep that stuff? Because I find that I have these whole revelations, and then I'm so cozy drinking my hot chocolate. By the time I finished it, I've forgotten what I was thinking.
Yeah, definitely get a journal out, and start writing things down about what these questions actually make you think about or bring about along your own personal space as well. Another great question is, what do you need to stop altogether? Because, again, I say, Samuel and I and the team are really, really busy at Stolehaven, but actually, what is it that we're doing? What is not necessarily anymore? I take a lot of notes. Lots and lots of notes and to-do lists, and there's bits of paper everywhere. I'm just laughing about the office space. I have a little office space as well, and there's piles of little to-do lists along the way. So yes, one of my 2025 New Year's resolutions, maybe we'll say that, is actually to stop piling on the to-do lists and make it a lot simpler along the way.
I think it's important to kind of have that What I like about a to-do list is because it's downloading things that you feel like you mustn't forget from your mental space, so your brain is freed up to not be worrying about, oh, I need to make sure that I pay that bill, or I need to remember that I do X, Y, and Z. Writing it down helps, but if you've got hundreds of post-it notes all lying around, maybe one central to-do list would be the answer.
Yeah, definitely. One list and then take it from that list. I'm learning that experience at the moment. Yeah, one huge list to a little tiny list to tick a box, to open the dopamine in the brain, say, yes, I've done that, and tick that one off along the way is a really good idea.
It is quite nice to look at all the things you've ticked off, but it also is kind of quite stressful when you just kind of look like, oh my gosh, look how much stuff I've done this week. Oh, no wonder I'm exhausted. So I think, post-it notes that you then screw up and throw in the bin when you've done it, great, because that's quite satisfying when you get to that moment.
Definitely. And then one of the questions I always ask myself and ask others, especially with the teamwork that we do as well, is what is holding us back? And is that something very emotional? Is that something being fearful? Is that our own restrictions? Or is it about the resources? You don't have X, you don't have Y, you don't have Z, you don't have A, B. Really think about how we can bring that into our awareness for 2025.
And I think it's also about letting go of things that you've invested time and effort into that aren't actually helping with anything, and you're just doing it because you've always done it, and questioning what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I remember a really, I don't know whether I can say this, but I will anyway. I remember a really good conversation that I had, that somebody was taught from their grandmother how to cook a turkey. And they've always done it over the years and cooked it the same way that the grandmother taught them how to cook a turkey. And then somebody said, but why do you cook it like that? Well, I don't know why, but my grandma taught me. And it was like no other explanation for it at all. So bringing in the new things and learning different things along the way for 2025 would be great.
And also understanding why you're doing things the way that you are. Because a lot of people cook turkeys really badly. They get so dry and unpleasant. And actually, if you watch a Jamie Oliver video, there's ways to do it where it actually can taste quite nice.
Yes, definitely. Different ways. The invitation to try something new in the new year is also very exciting, and don't be too daunted about that. Change is good.
So what is a good method once you've kind of gone through this process and you've identified some of the things, you've answered those questions, maybe things that you want to do in the new year, things you want to improve, do less of, stop doing. What should you do to make sure that these actually happen, to keep them at the front of your mind as you go forward for the next few weeks?
So that's a really great question.